Good evening, everybody, and welcome to, I guess, another date night appetizer. We did have a request to make a little bit of a simpler recipe, so it's not going to get much simpler than what we're going to do tonight. We are going to make sliders that you can serve on game day, or you can take them to a party as an appetizer. For our drink tonight, we are making a cranberry cocktail. So for the drink that we're gonna make and start out with, you're gonna need some vodka, plain vodka or unflavored, some orange liqueur. We have Cointreau here, and some Prosecco or some form of champagne or a bubbly type of wine. Some cranberry juice, lots of stuff here, and a drink shaker, if you will. So we will start out with, I've already put some ice in the shaker. A half an ounce or so of vodka. It smells so good. A half an ounce or so of orange liqueur. I will say we're not going to be rimming the glasses, so you don't need to worry about that. And then, this is for one drink, by the way, and then around, depending on the size of your glass, a cup of cranberry juice. I didn't fill that quite all the way up because I knew that that was not going to go well when I tried to mix it into the shaker, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. Put that together and put the lid on it. I'm not good with this shaker.
Can I have it? Can I have
the production assistant will give him a shake for us. Notice how I didn't put the Prosecco or bubbly wine into the shaker. Just into the glass. Oh, this turned to be a lot. Top it off with a little bit of your bubbly.
Yeah. That's good.
A couple cranberries to garnish. And we'll see what the production assistant thinks before we make another one.
That's really good.
No, that didn't work. So we'll get the production assistant to do that.
Oh, right in the crotch.
We'll make another drink. Add a little bit more ice to our shaker.
But easy on the cranberry, actually.
An ounce or so of vodka. An ounce or so of Cointreau. In we go with the cranberry juice. This can tend to be a little bit on the sweeter side, so just keep that in mind. Oh, look at that. Put it together for me. On with our lid. Give it a good shake. Into our glass. Top it off with your Prosecco, sparkling wine. These little bottles work great, by the way. You can find them at your liquor store. In with the cranberries, and cheers. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Very refreshing. You can also serve it in a martini glass, or you can also make it in punch form as well, just to adjust the alcohol accordingly if you're going to make it as a punch. And of course, you're probably going to want to use a full container of cranberry juice, etc. So that's our drink for the evening. Now, move our alcohol out of the way, but keep it close at hand. So what are we gonna make? We are going to make sliders. So fairly quick, fairly simple, fairly easy. You need some buns, smaller buns that we have 6 here. These just came apart, and that's okay. They were like so, and then we cut them in half lengthwise. And these are just small, literally small dinner rolls, and they'll work fine for this, or small hamburger buns if you can find them. You will need a can of tomato paste, 3 cloves of garlic, or garlic to taste, Parmesan cheese. Don't come at me for using the Kraft bottle of Parmesan cheese, but this is what's going to work best. A package of Sloppy Joe seasoning, and it really doesn't matter which kind. You can just pick whichever kind you like. Shredded cheese. For us, we have a smoked aged cheddar cheese, and that's what's going to make all the difference. Make sure that whatever cheese you're going to use on this is a good quality cheese. It'll make all the difference in the world. You can just use regular shredded cheddar cheese or mozzarella cheese as well. That's fine, but this is a smoked aged cheddar. If you want to make this a little spicier than what the package is going to make it, you can either add some chili flakes or go in with the Frank's Red Hot. We're not going to do that though. And then you are also going to need some butter or margarine. We're going to use our Basil margarine. And then you are going to need, for this amount of buns, we're probably going to have some of the sauce left over. But this is around a cup, between a cup and a half of ground beef, lean ground beef. So, woo, cheers. The first thing we're going to do is, I have the oven preheated to 425. I'm just going to move the buns out of the way. Grab yourself a small container. You want to scoop in this is a good heaping teaspoon. I just need enough butter to butter both sides of the buns for this. So That's going to be approximately 2 tablespoons. Butter. Off to the side. We're going to take our 3 cloves of fresh garlic. It smells so good. So 3 or so, which if you want it to be garlicky, go ahead and add more. Parmesan cheese. You're going to add a little bit of that to the butter that we're making. And that's why this one works the best. Yes, because it's a little bit almost like, or it can be like a little bit of a powdery consistency, so it's easier to mix. Give that a really good mix. If you're going to use regular butter to do this, make sure that when you're starting to do it, your butter's at room temperature. Okay, so that's pretty well mixed. Then what you're going to do is grab yourself another sip of your drink. Oh, that's good. Put your butter on your buns. Get them well coated. So I'm finding in this case the 2 tablespoons was almost exactly enough. So again, if your buns come apart like these ones did, it's really no big deal, because at the end we'll have everything all stick together. All right, and so I think we're good with that. Away. We're going to pop these in the oven to toast. It's hot. It's really hot in there.
Thank you, no hot.
That's on 425, by the way. We're going to take our ground beef. That did not sound good, but okay. Into the pan. Yes, I walked into the stove. While our buns are toasting, we are going to brown the ground beef. And we'll get the production assistant to remove the lid on the tomato paste. This is a full can of tomato paste. Otherwise, I would say you could use the tube of tomato paste, but you would be using the whole tube. All right. So that's heating up. I've kept this out. This is the tool, the lovely little tool I'm going to use to break apart the ground beef while it cooks.
So
Put our cheese off to the side, and then we will open our package of seasoning. So you're not going to go in with your seasoning. Thank you. You're not going to go in with your seasoning until your meat has finished browning. So at this point, you could add a little bit of garlic to the meat while it's browning, but it's not necessary. It's to your preference. And so this should be fairly quick. Your kids will love this as well, and they do travel well for a lunch. So I am going to add just a tiny bit of garlic salt, if you will, to the meat. Not a lot, just a little bit. This is one of those recipes you can probably do in 30 minutes or less. Just checking the buns. Cheers. That's a really good cocktail. All right. Grab ourselves a spoon. And we're going to give our ground beef a couple minutes to brown, and then we'll be right back.
There you go.
Woo! Cheers, and we're back. So our ground beef has been browned. I'm gonna add the package of Sloppy Joe mix, the whole package. Again, quick, simple, easy. Give that a quick stir. We're going to go in with our whole can of tomato paste. You'll notice that our buns have been toasted and I've pulled them out of the oven, so those are just going to hang out there while we finish this part. Give that a quick stir. Now at this point you're going to have to add a little bit of water, but not too much. So the suggested amount, which I find is generally speaking a little too much, is to take the can of tomato paste and fill that up with water and use that much, but I find that that's a little too much. So I'm just going to grab just a little bit of water, and I'm just going to add it slowly a little bit at, well, in this case the whole thing. Drain off, by the way, your ground beef before you add the seasonings, if need be. Make sure it's well broken apart and there's no big chunks in there. And that was perfect. So cheers to that. That's really good. So what we're gonna do is sprinkle just a little bit. That's a lot of wind out there. A little bit of Parmesan cheese. Now at this point, you're going to want some sort of a spoon type device. Turn your sloppy Joe mix off. Give it one final good stir. Bring it over to here. I would put the sloppy Joe mix on the bottom part of the buns, but it doesn't really matter, but just because they're flatter. So put it on. Flatten it out as you go. Put on a nice thick layer. So you can see I'm gonna, for the 6 buns that I have, I'm gonna have some of this mixture left over. Now the cool thing about this mixture is that you could freeze what's left over and then de-thaw it and then make these again as a quick easy meal as well as an appetizer. So there you go. Take your cheese, put that on top. This cheese smells so good. Do your best to keep everything on the buns, but it's exactly what it sounds like, sloppy joes. And I've used most of the cheese, which I think was pretty close to a cup and a half, between a cup and a half and 2 cups. So I'm going to throw this back in the oven just long enough for the cheese to melt. And I've still left the oven at 425 because that should be adequate. And I've left the tops, by the way, as well. They should be fine. You can remove those off the pan though if you feel like you need to. And we'll give that a couple of minutes and then we'll be right back. Cheers everybody, and we're back. We've got a huge windstorm going on out there, and so we're gonna lose power, but I think we're good. So cheers. The cheese is melted, so we're literally just gonna take, without burning ourselves, the top, flip it right over. That's hot. Just push down a bit so that the cheese will actually set and keep them stuck together, I guess. So what are some ways you could take these to the next level?
Bacon.
You could add bacon, or even bacon bits. You could also, at this stage, add tomatoes to it as well, to make it more like an actual burger. But the way that these are right now, with just the sloppy Joe mix, meat mixture, and the cheese and the buns, they're fantastic. So you want to let them sit for a couple minutes, just to set, and then you're literally just going to cut following the buns. Woo! Managed to separate out a couple there. Grab a couple plates. And there you go. And there you go. Give them a bit of a quick try here. They're going to be hot. So good. Wow. So again, when you're making these, the cheese is key. So this is a smoked cheddar cheese that we used in here, and it just is fantastic. I'm not sure where we got it, but it's been really good. What we used in this recipe was the last of what we had of it. So if we find it again and use it in a future recipe, I'll try to remember to let you know where we got it. So again, tonight we featured a cranberry cocktail for Christmas and the holiday season. In that cranberry cocktail is cranberry juice, vodka, orange liqueur, like Cointreau, I think that's how you say it. And some bubbly wine or champagne or Prosecco is ideally what you're going to use. And we put that in a shaker and garnished it with some cranberries. And it turned out super delicious. Just remember, you can also turn that into a punch if you feel like you need, it would be a good option for your party. And then we made a version of what we call a slider or mini hamburger as an appetizer. That's great to take to a party, great for a kid's lunch, or great for game day as well. These do travel well, so keep that in mind if you're looking for an appetizer and you need something that's going to travel well to a party. So cheers, until next time.
Ciao, folks.